Hi there, Summoners. GuardianE here, and summertime is upon us, finally, in Fire Emblem Heroes. We got the first, at least the first, summer banner of the year, with silhouettes teasing who the new characters, the new special heroes are going to be. I'm going to throw my guesses in as Orochi on the left and Kaze on the right. That's just the feeling I get. Maybe it's wishful thinking, because I do really like Orochi, but I guess we'll see how wrong I am. Got the trailer pulled up here. We're going to watch it together raw for the first time, react to the reveals, and then take a closer look at the kits as well and the art on a second pass. So let's get into it. Alright, here we go. Let's see who they got lined up for hitting the summer sun. Always love seeing that theme, or hearing that theme. Glistening sea and radiant smiles. Special heroes to battle. And who we got? Oh, really? It's Nino? Burst of Summer?
I'm not so confident in the water.
Alright, Infantry Red Tome user, Nino here. I feel like we've been getting a lot of Nino. Is that just me? Bounce and Ball, Flare, Perfect Attack Speed, Lull Finish, Black Fang Bond for that C-slot skill. Hinder Savior for her foes. Oh, interesting. 57 damage, berries. Okay, so it looks like she's got some true damage, which is pretty standard fare. Okay. Interesting. Attacking with the beach ball, getting a little reposition action after the fact, which is nice. Oh, Forager of the Sea. Hello. Got Lapis here. From Engage, okay. Infantry Lancer. Alright. Holland Harpoon, Haze Slice, nice. Attack Speed Excel, Potent Finish, and Pulse Tempest F. Pulse Tempest F, okay. Trigger specials repeatedly and damage foes after combat. Allies, okay, blah blah blah, alright. Haze Slice! You'll be minced. Okay. Oh, and she does get a little out-of-combat damage afterwards. It looks like she does give a little boost to her allies for the follow-up. Interesting. Very interesting. Oh! Soaring Summer? That is going to be a Palla? Wow, really? Nice, okay. Fan and Foliage plus Ignis, attack defense near trace 4, attack defense rain. Gain special cooldown count -1. Rains in, okay. Alright. My personal favorite White Wing. So that's exciting for me, at least. I like, oh! Sunlit Priestesses! That is going to be Celica. Oh, and Serra? So colorless tome unit. Interesting. Pious Offering, Magic Light for the special. I wonder if that's going to be unique to them. Holy Soul of Zofia, Incite Hone. Okay.
Let's enjoy summer.
Let's enjoy. So I am curious if that is going to be a unique tome, or a unique special for them. It's an unusual pairing, I would say. Not one that I was certainly expecting. Oh, she's got a style? Okay, we're going to have to dissect this a little bit. Because styles are certainly, they add a whole new dimension to the character here. She can attack from, looks like 4 spaces away. Or 3 spaces away, I'm sorry. She can reach foes 6 spaces away, attack 4 times from afar with special... Oh my god, okay, alright, well we can take a look at... exactly what that means. Alright. So they are going to be a colorless tome cavalry unit. My god, okay. It's just over and over again. Okay. Alright. Alright. A little Kanto action after. Interesting. Harmonized skill. All right. And, yeah, we'll take a look at all this stuff, but I will say it's a pretty unusual combination of titles, I guess, represented here. Ooh, getting a healing? Okay. Paralogue story, Pious Summer. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's definitely a unique blend, I would say. Okay, so it looks like Summer Fogato is going to be the free unit, the free summer unit this go around, and he will be a cavalry dagger unit. Interesting. Okay. All right. I believe that he is probably the silhouette from the tease, since the rest of the banner is all lovely ladies. Now, I was way off. Obviously, my guess was completely wrong. I got nothing right. But yeah, this is the selection, and again, it's a pretty varied, I think, in terms of representation of different titles. So I think that is certainly much appreciated. I do appreciate the title diversity. I like the characters quite a bit too. As far as the character selection goes, I'm not drooling and chomping at the bit to dive into the banner, I would say, in terms of the character selection and the designs. I like Palla, my favorite White Wing, so she would probably be my favorite of the selection. Celica looks great as well, but I guess just as far as summer banners go, because I think I hold summer banners to a different standard entirely. I feel like I'm a little bit more lukewarm in terms of the offerings here than in past years, but still, I think the selection is nice. We can start by taking a closer look at her here. So Summer Nino, she is going to be an infantry red tome unit. We do have a red tome infantry Nino already. So this is not going to be a new variation, I don't think, of Nino for like Nino emblem or as far as Nino variants go. But we'll see what her overall, niche or archetype is. She's got that beach ball in hand. Not only a cute, modest swimsuit, very fitting for her. I like that they incorporated the purple elements that are part of her headband into the swimsuit as well, with the flowers, the blue flowers, the tropical arrangement on the inner tube or the swimming tube that's around her. Very, very cute. So Nino apparently hinders Savior for her foes, which definitely piqued my interest. I can deal plus 57 damage and buries foes with a powerful special and desperation. So Bounce and Ball, going to be 14 might, has a killer slaying effect. At start of turn of units within 2 space of an ally, grants attack speed plus 6, neutralizes penalties on unit during combat, and Hexblade to unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. So nice little support component to this as well. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants bonus to a unit's attack speed equal to 20% of unit speed at start of combat plus 6. Unit deals plus X times 5 damage, max 25. Okay, excluding area of effect specials, X equals the number of bonus effects active on unit, excluding stat bonuses, plus number of penalty effects active on foe, excluding stat penalties. Okay, so some raw true damage that's built in that scales off of bonus effects and penalties on Nino and the enemy respectively, and reduces the percentage of foes non-special, okay, so damage reduction piercing as well, alright, during combat, and also if unit initiates combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before foe's next attack. So she has a desperation built into her kit automatically as long as she is player phasing. So a lot in there that's quite potent. It does seem like she is going to be, a magic nuker, which is really part and parcel with what you would expect from Nino, not deviating too far from what we would see commonly with her archetypes. Flare for the special, as long as she has a certain HP threshold, boost damage by 60% of foes' res. If unit is less than 70% HP, then 40% of foes' res is the damage, but she also restores 30% of her max HP. Perfect attack speed, that is going to work very well, of course, with her overall kit in terms of scaling off of her speed and having additional bonus damage, scaling off of her speed being, again, player phase attack oriented. So that is going to fall right in line with her nuking archetype, right? Neutralize effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks, and unit effects that prevent units follow-up attacks during combat. Obviously, she's going to appreciate that quite a bit because she is going to be having that desperation effect. She does not want to be hindered, and so perfect attack speed is going to allow her to bypass any double negation on the enemy side, right? Speed res lull finish. Inflicts speed res -4 on foe. Inflicts additional penalty on foe speed and res equal to the number of bonus effects on foe, excluding stat bonuses. Interesting. So not only does she get additional buffs in accordance with the number of penalties on the enemy, speed res lull finish is going to give additional buffs in accordance with the number of bonus effects on the enemy too. So damned if you give bonuses and damned if you get penalties, right? Max 4 neutralizes foes' bonuses to speed and res and reduces damage from foes' attacks by 7 during combat. And also, if unit special is ready or triggered before or during this combat, deals plus 15 damage during combat. Oh, okay. Except when dealing damage with AoE specials, and when unit deals damage to foe during combat, restores 7 HP. You got health restoration, you got true damage built in with special proc. She is going to be proccing her special quite a bit, as we talked about, and she is going to be attacking multiple, in sequence, right? So she is going to be able to get that flare going, right? So let's see. Black Fang Bond. That is going to be her own unique C slot skill. Enables Kanto 2. So just no conditions to that. When Kanto triggers, it enables unit to use distance swap on ally. Right, okay. We all love that, of course, right? At start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants unit can move 1 extra space to unit. And also, if special cooldown count is at its max value, grants special cooldown count -2 to unit. Special cooldown count is at its max value -1, grants special cooldown count -1 to... Okay. So she always gets 2 charges. Or she always... let me rephrase that. She always gets the equivalent of 2 charges on her special if she's at max value, right? So even if she had an additional charge, she gets, one charge, right? To make sure that she's at -2. With the Killer Slaying effect, so I think Flare is what? Flare is at level 3. So Flare is at 3 cooldown. The Killer Slaying effect is going to have it at a 2 cooldown, which means that she is always going to, at the beginning of the turn, have an insta-charge, is what it's saying. At start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, inflict speed res -7, exposure, and undefended on closest foes through their next actions, and inflict speed res -7 and exposure on foes within 2 spaces of those foes through their next actions. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +5 to unit, and unit deals +7 damage during combat. Right. So, that is a really loaded C-slot skill. I mean, again, this kind of falls in line with, I think, the general sentiment and game design of intelligence systems with characters these days, where it feels they just kind of like slap things into slots however they feel like it now. And so, again, this just has a ton of really great stuff, right? It's unique to Nino. It's got a lot of movement capability tied into the C slot, where it doesn't. C slot is traditionally like a team synergy or a sort of a buff debuff kind of centric skill slot, whereas this is it's really not about that. It's like you got Kanto, you got distance swap. Those are all elements that are kind of baked into the C slot skill, in addition to a general debuff on the enemy as well. All right, so she is going to have that enhanced mobility here. She's going to have the Kanto. She's going to have the additional movement tile. I mean, she's going to be effectively a cavalry unit, even though she's on her own 2 feet here. And then additionally, she's got some unique things with the distance swap, as well as the the actual buffs and support elements to her weapon. And then proccing the special basically over and over again, and then dealing true damage and additional true damage associated with that special proc. So again, being a nuker, she is going to be all about that offensive true damage and proccing and doing her special. That is really the name of the game these days as far as an offensive mage goes, right? So yeah, proccing the special, attacking. I like that she does a little hula hoop motion with the swimming ring. It's cute. But yeah, so there she goes with the desperation, and then you get the distance swap in play like so, right? There you go. Now we got Lapis here from Engage. She is also going to be infantry, but going to be a lance user. Very fitting, very appropriate garb. Her swimsuit does kind of match her armor a little bit in terms of the color palette and everything. She has the cute hat with the little sunflowers on it. Very adorable. She's got a bright smile, loose fit shirt on top as well. Looks like she's going fishing. Naturally, with the harpoon, makes a lot of sense. It looks like she does have some of her catch next to her there in the ice bucket, so or ice box, whatever that is. And yeah, so it's nice. I think it's a nice design. Again, I would say pretty fitting for Lapis here, and I am happy to see some Engage representation on the summer banner. There are a lot of Engage characters that I think are competing for the summer slots, and Lapis came out on top. Which is a little bit of a surprise to me, I think, just based on the competition. But nonetheless, I think she looks great. I think she looks great. So let's start over here. So trigger specials repeatedly and damages foes after combat. Allies who best afflicted foes gain an action. So again, we saw that in play with the demonstration. So Haul and Harpoon, that's a doozy of a description here. Enables Kanto distance +1 max 4 and then a killer slaying effect. So when Kanto triggers, enables unit to use distance swap. Oh, okay. On ally. This effect is not treated as an assist skill. Similar effects are active. Effects not treated. Okay. If unit initiates combat within 2 spaces of an ally, grants bonus to all stats equal to the number of allies within 3 rows or 3 columns, centered on unit times 3 plus 5, max 14. Grants special cooldown count -1 to unit before unit's first attack. Oh, she gets a little special pre-charge. Unit deals plus X times 8 damage, max 32. Excluding AoE specials, X equals the number of foes within 3 spaces of target, including target. Oh, okay. All right. And reduces the number, reduces damage from foes' attacks by 20% of unit speed during combat, excluding AoE specials, and also reduces damage by an additional 20% of unit speed when foes' attack triggers foes' special. Okay, getting some damage reduction in there. If unit initiates combat, after combat deals 10 damage to foe and foes within 2 spaces of that foe, and inflicts share spoils plus on those foes through their next actions. Okay, so share spoils plus inflicts -5 to all stats on unit during combat, neutralizes reduced damage by X. Oh, so it actually neutralizes damage reduction, like normal percentage-based damage reduction. Wow, that is potent. I mean, I will say that, again, the current kind of dynamic within the game, that percentage-based damage reduction is less and less effective. It's all more about sort of the fixed damage reduction instead, or damage reduction that scales off of stats, things like that. So that is the direction that we're going, which makes things really obtuse and convoluted to calculate. But the reality is that, yeah, I mean, I definitely kind of would have seen this on the horizon at some point. But yeah, this is going to be a negative penalty that effectively eliminates percentage-based damage reduction on the enemy. So that's really powerful of a debuff. I mean, we have buffs in the game that do have damage reduction piercing, right? I'm sure there are also buffs that give damage reduction nullification. I'm not entirely sure about that. But at least as far as a debuff goes, I mean, it's certainly powerful because it not only has that damage reduction nullification, but also the stat debuff as well, right? Once per turn, for the entire map, if foe initiates combat, and if unit is defeated in combat, grants another action to that foe after combat. Wait, what? This effect has priority over other similar effects aside from share spoils. Okay, so that's part of share spoils. So it's not just the damage reduction nullification, as if that wasn't enough, along with the stat debuffs, but also if the basically if the unit that has that debuff goes down, gets KO'd, gets defeated in combat, the attacker, which is, again, would have been one of your units or your allies, will get another action after combat. Gotcha. So yeah, that is like a busted debuff. Yeah, absolutely unnecessarily loaded debuff. That, you know, yeah, yeah, it's busted. It's busted. Haze Slice for the special here, which is quite powerful. and not super common, so it's good to see it. Haze Slice, 3 cooldown special. Boost damage by 35% of unit's attack when special triggers. If unit initiates combat, grants special cooldown count -1 to unit before unit's first attack, and reduces damage from foes' attacks by 40% during combat. That is going to, I think, synergize with the pre-charge that she gets from her weapon, and the Killer Slaying effect, right? So that does mean that she is going to get, Haze Slice is going to be at a 2 cooldown, and then she's going to get 2 pre-charges, which is going to give her an insta-charge as she goes into combat, effectively. Attack speed XL for the A slot. She is a cavalry. No, she's an infantry. But I can already see she has an ability that gives her an extra space movement. So that is, she's basically a cavalry. So she's going to be able to move an additional tile. And obviously that is going to work very well with giving her additional potent capability as an offensive character to deal that much more damage. And then she's also going to get some damage reduction built into with the XL. Potent Finish for the B slot is going to be particularly good for her, since she is going to be getting plenty of that pre-charge. She is going to be proccing that special over and over again. She's going to get true damage built in from the Potent Finish too. So that's going to work very well for her. Pulse Tempest F for the C slot. At the start of turn, unit can move 1 extra space. Grants bonus to unit stat line during combat equal to the number of spaces from start position to end position of whoever initiated combat. So that's going to synergize well with XL, of course, right? Her A-slot skill. And also, if unit's attack can trigger unit special, grant special cooldown count -2 to unit before unit's first follow-up attack. Obviously, that is going to fare very well with Potent Finish, in addition to, of course, the pre-charge that she gets from her weapon, so that she's going to be able to proc that Haze Slice over and over again. So that is going to be quite strong. Yeah, so once again, she gets that pre-charge right there, goes into the Haze Slice, gets an insta-charge again into another Haze Slice, like so, and there you go, right? Yeah, so quite potent, and then she does have the swap right there, and with that debuff on the enemy, we have Alear going in for the attack, and she is going to get an additional action. I will say it's mitigated by the fact that it's once per map, so that is good. Because otherwise, what Alear could do is basically sweep across the entire map at that point. You know, taking out each of the enemies, getting an additional action each time, and then just sweeping that way. To be perfectly honest, I'm surprised that they didn't just leave that in, because again, with the way the power scaling is in this game these days, it seems like they don't care. But they had some reserve about allowing that to happen. Here we have Palla, who I am very excited to see, and she is a flying axe unit. That's nice. It's nice to see Palla with an axe. I don't think we have a Palla with an axe in the game thus far. So again, it's great to see her. She looks phenomenal in that swimsuit. And probably the character that I'm most excited about seeing on the banner, to be perfectly honest. I am a Palla fan. And she's got a fan. Like, she's got a frond. I think that's very fitting, too, considering that she is, green is her color, right? And obviously her hair color is that soft sage. And then that's going to pair very well, of course, with the big palm frond or leaf or whatever it is that she is wielding as her weapon. She's got the straw hat, which looks very nice on her, with some lovely flowers in her hair. And then the swimsuit itself, a 2-piece, very eye-catching, very fetching, really showing off the figure. There is a transparent skirt element that gives it a Vogue appeal, and you've got some feathers in her weapon, the blue and the pink, that gives it this nice splash of color, matching the flowers in her hair too. Lovely glisten and shine across her smooth skin, lots of details and shading. The artist did a great job in bringing her to life. The gloss of her hair catching the light is just really, really gorgeous. Yeah, I think she looks fantastic. Alright, so we know that Palla is the 4-star focus unit of the banner. She also does not have any unique abilities or weapons, so she's probably not going to have the best kit. But Fan and Foliage plus 14 might. At the start of turn, if unit special cooldown count is at its max value, grant special cooldown count -1 to unit. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 space of an ally, grants +5 to all stats and deals damage equal to 15% of unit's attack during combat. Got Ignis. Interesting. So that does mean that she's probably going to be pretty tanky in terms of her stat line. Attack Defense Near Trace 4 for the B slot. That is actually interesting. She is debuting a new skill, although not a new tier of skill, just like a new skill, you know, a new, I guess, stat combination for an existing tier skill. But still, nonetheless. And then Attack Defense Rain 3 for the C slot. So she's got some decent fodder. I mean, again, Attack Defense Near Trace 4 and Attack Defense Rain 3 are not bad, at least as far as inheritables or stepping stone skills. But at the end of the day, not terribly much to write home about in terms of her kit, of course. She's going to be the easier acquisition as the 4-star special unit, which also means that she is going to be the easier +10 for merges if you do go that route. But gain special cooldown count -1 if hers is at max value at the start of turn, and then she reigns in foes and can use Kanto. That is right. Yep. So yeah. Unfortunately, not too much to talk about in terms of gameplay, but the art is gorgeous. Again, her attacking art here is lovely. Look at this. I love the expression on her face. She's so excited to be in the summer sun. You got the wisps of water around her, the flowers, the fish. She looks really, really great. Getting a nice view of leg and midriff here, as well as her arms. Yeah, summer memory. She looks great. It is quite the view. I very, very much appreciate that. So, that is Palla. Sunlit Priestesses.
What do you think of my bathing suit?
Celica. So, Celica and Serra, they are going to be Cavalry Colorless Tome. They look great together. I do think that Celica's swimsuit design looks phenomenal. I think they did a great job in capturing sort of her regal essence and composure with the swimsuit itself. It does have, again, the color palette of her default outfit has these sort of trim, sleek components to it with the straps, and it's just very attractive, of course, being a two-piece. Plenty of skin exposure. She's got the thigh strap as well that does match the gold elements to her default outfit once again. Got the scarf wrapped around her arms, as well as the flower arrangement around her neck. Really pretty. She's holding a bevy of fruits there, I think. That might be their weapon. I really adore how Serra has kind of her arm wrapped around Celica's here and is like pulled up close. I think it's really endearing to see that, just because I think her personality comes through very cleanly in this art, where she's like not shy about coming, you know, and being very friendly, right? And I think it works really well with the pairing. Serra's swimsuit, honestly, it's a little too flouncy. I feel there's a lot of elements going on. Naturally, it does fit very well with I think the accommodation and sort of the porting of her default outfit with the overcloaks that she's wearing and everything like that, and kind of translating that into swim garb. It looks fine. I think it might feel a little bland in comparison to Celica's. I mean, Celica's is just quite striking with the gold and the red, and the sleek design once again with showing off the figure as well. Whereas Serra's is much more subdued, right? And probably deliberately so. And then you have that dichotomy between the two. Alright, so Pious Offering. 14 might killer slaying effect built in. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 space of an ally, grants bonus to unit attack speed equal to 20% of unit speed at the start of combat +6. Unit deals +X times 5 damage, max 25. X is the number of bonus effects active on unit, excluding stat bonuses and number of penalty effects on foe, right? Neutralize effects that guarantee foes follow-up attacks and effects that prevent units follow-up attacks. Grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack during combat, so getting a nice little blade effect there. And unit can use the following style, Echo styles. We're going to have to look at that a little bit later. Magic Light for the special. When special triggers, treats foes' defense res as if reduced by 50%, and neutralizes foes' reduced damage by X% effects from foes' non-special skills. Magic Light for the special, it's going to be 3 cooldown. When special triggers, treats foes' defense res as if reduced by 50%, and neutralizes foes, reduces damage by X% effects. Ah, interesting. So that is going to be the damage reduction nullification special for tome units, I am guessing. I don't know if this is going to be locked away to to cavalry. I don't see why it would be. I think it really is probably going to be the mage equivalent of this skill that we've seen, honestly, a couple of years late, I would say. Like, at this point, there's so many characters and so many skills that give damage reduction piercing, or multiple damage reduction piercing effects, or damage reduction nullification. So it's a little late to the game, but I do appreciate that it's finally here, I suppose. But I feel like Tome's got kind of the short end of the stick with this one, because this is one that's been in existence for so many other weapon archetypes in the game so far, and so Tomes are just getting it now. But at least they're finally getting it, right? Sly Swift Sparrow is going to work very well, of course. Guaranteed follow-up attack during combat when initiating, and then the bonuses and the penalties elements is going to synergize well with their weapon. Holy Soul of Zofia for the B slot. Enables Kanto distance max 3. Okay. At start of turn, inflicts speed res -7, sabotage, and discord on closest foes and foes within 2 spaces of those foes through their next action. So you're going to have a nice little AoE debuff on the enemy. Inflicts speed res -5 on foe and deals damage equal to 20% of unit speed during combat. And also, if unit's HP is greater than 1 and foe would reduce unit's HP to 0, unit survives with 1 HP. I see. Okay, so have a miracle effect built in and restore 7 HP to unit after combat. So it's going to be a self-sustaining miracle effect. That is annoying. So yeah, okay. So yeah, she's going to heal to 7 HP and basically can't be defeated unless you double up on her when she has 1 HP remaining. So yeah, I mean that is quite a potent B slot skill. Got a lot of great effects in there, including, with the health restoration. It does kind of like, I think it does lean into the priestess element of her as well, so I feel like that is kind of nice flavor. But yeah, so lots of good stuff in there, including the AoE, the debuff, the Kanto effect, in addition to the actual true damage built into the debuff on the enemy, and the miracle effect and health restoration. For the C slot, attack speed incite hone. At start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +6, and incited to unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. Grants bonus to unit's attack and speed during combat equal to the number of allies on the map with the incited effect +2 at a max of 5. Okay. So they are going to hit very, very hard, and they are going to be proccing that special over and over again. I do recall with the gameplay demonstration that she attacked like over and over and over again, so I'm guessing that has to do with her style. We're gonna have to keep looking here, because that is definitely a part of her weapon that we can't ignore. So here she is attacking. There we go. Alright, so here is the style. Echo style. Unit can attack foes 3 spaces away. Unit cannot attack foes 2 spaces away. So that is an interesting distinction, right? So depending on the map composition and the limitation of the movement ability and the spaces to attack the enemy, when you're using this style, you're not going to be able to attack in the normal attack range of Celica and Serra. Unit attacks twice and calculates damage at 60% during combat. Okay, this calculation stacks with other effects and calculates damage at X%, such as potent follow. Right. Okay, so she gets a brave effect and then calculates damage at 60%. Interesting. So does that mean that she does 60% after all of the calculations? Or I'm guessing that's what it has to mean. So then it's just kind of like a flat multiplier at the end. Unit suffers a counterattack if any of the following conditions are met. Foe is armored with range of 2, or foe can counterattack regardless of unit's range. After combat, movement effects do not occur. Oh, okay, so she doesn't get her Kanto. Skill effects range is treated as 2, including by skill effects determined by attack range, like Pavis and Aegis. This style can only be used once per turn. I do kind of like this one, because I feel like there are certain there are certain drawbacks to it. I mean, not a lot of drawbacks, but it does seem a little bit more reserved, I suppose, at least in terms of what it offers. It will synergize with Potent. She does have the Brave effect, right? Built in. It's going to be a 3 cooldown. So you kind of have to pick and choose what makes the most sense. Like, as opposed to, I would say Erica, for example, where it doesn't really matter. It's basically, she has the freedom and flexibility of using, either of her styles and during the style switch, and it doesn't matter. For Erica, I think it is actually a little bit more important to pick and choose when you use the different styles, right? She's not going to have the Brave effect in her default style at all. She's going to have different movement capability, but additional range. She's going to have the Brave effect, but she's going to have it at a 60% damage deficit, or a 40% damage deficit, I suppose. And I feel like that is important because certain enemies, against certain foes, you do actually want to hit harder with each hit, and for certain other foes, you do benefit from just attacking 4 or 5 times. So again, I think that does kind of lend itself to versatile gameplay, which I think is a good thing. So I feel like I do actually appreciate the design of this style. So that's nice. I like it. Alright, with her style, she can reach foes 6 spaces away and attack 4 times from afar with specials, then retreat. Wait, hold on. Oh, wait, okay, wait, I misread that. Okay, and I should have known that, because I've made that mistake before. After combat, movement effects do not occur. Oh, okay, they're talking about skills like drag back. Right. Gotcha. Yeah, okay, so they're not talking about Kanto. Okay, so she can Kanto. So never mind, it's actually... He's actually not as subdued as I thought it was. Alright, so yeah, it is still pretty busted. I still do like the design. I will say that I still do like kind of the design of the style overall. But yes, so here she is with that the giant bowl of fruit. Alright, so the harmonized skill. So not only, of course, do they have a style, they have a harmonized skill. Neutralizes any penalty, restores 40 HP, and grants Resonance Blades to unit and allies from the same title as unit for 1 turn. Okay. Alright. I feel like this is a little bit more reserved than what we've seen in the past for as far as duo skills go. The health restoration is quite nice. Resonance Blades is an oldie but a goodie in terms of a buff. And that, of course, is going to synergize with all of the other effects and bonuses that she gets based off of the number of buffs that are bonuses that she has, right, and her allies have. Neutralizes any penalty is deceptive in how awesome it is, I think, from an ability standpoint. Just neutralizing all penalties is really, really potent in this day and age where there's just a ton of different penalties that are out there, and you have so many effects that scale off of the number of penalties, right? These days, or synergize with those penalties to kind of have an additional supplemental effect, things like that. So I do feel like that is it is deceptively good, and I also feel like I think it works well in terms of the flavor of them being priestesses when you have Celica and Serra together. So I do like it from that perspective. Pious Summer Paralogue Story. There we go. And again, we got our buddy there too. So once again, starting on the 17th of June and going until August 6th, about 2 months, because this is going to run concurrently with Part 2, or Summer 2 banner for the year, because we always get 2 summer banners. I am curious to see, usually with the second banner, we get some OCs, some actual Fire Emblem Heroes characters in those, and it's usually a blend of Fire Emblem Heroes with some other titles, so it has a lot of potential as well. Like I had mentioned, I like the characters here, but I'm also not like bouncing off the walls. I do love Palla. I think she looks amazing in that swimsuit. Celica, I think, also looks superb, and I think overall, I think the character designs are quite nice, but again, not one that's driving me mad or anything to just spill my orbs into the ether. So that being the case, because again, this is a banner that goes for 2 months, and it's going to run concurrently with Banner 2 for summer, I might wait to see what the second summer banner has. And I might just do like one big session for both banners. I don't know. I don't know. I have to kind of like decide. But let me know down below what you think about the banner, Pious Summer, what you think about the character selection, the designs, the art, the skills. Did you guess correctly the silhouettes, based on the silhouettes, who the characters were going to be? Let me know down below. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, commenting down below, subscribing to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, let's protect those skies.